Did you know your credit card points and miles can lose value to inflation? Credit card companies often reduce the redemption value of your points and miles. Now imagine a credit card with rewards that can grow in value. With the Gemini credit card, you can earn Bitcoin or one of over 50 other cryptos instantly with no annual fee. Every swipe at the store or gas pump earns you instant rewards deposited straight to your account. Plus, sign up now for a $200 Bitcoin bonus to kickstart your rewards. Visit Gemini.com/card today. Check out the link in the description for more information on rates and fees. Again, if you're looking to invest in Bitcoin but don't know where to start, the Gemini credit card makes it easy.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball, this is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
A warm and friendly hello. Welcome to lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts. We've got an excellent podcast for you. We're going to be joined in segment number 2 by a good friend of ours, Tanner Kern, who does such great work over at DraftKings. We're going to be chatting with him about what he's all seen from the World Series thus far, how he's going to be looking to bet on things now that things are heading back to Toronto, some of the angles that he's going to be taking a look at in terms of Game 6, and so much more in the final segment. I will give you guys my initial Game 6 handicap as we touch them all. A little bit of question mark there, so I'll be going back through it on the podcast tomorrow as well, but I do want to keep this podcast running until we've got a title crowned in the World Series, and that is my promise to you because we are going to be getting college basketball very, very soon as well, and that warms my soul. But if you do have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of two ways we'll fire those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind, letters they mean does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. And the other way is find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it is very much appreciated. From there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review. While I did not get in any Twitter/X questions today, everything is powered by EdgeBoost. EdgeBoost is making sure that bettors are able to have access to their funds whenever and wherever. With EdgeBoost, 100% of gambling transactions do get approved, and when you go to edgeboost.bet, make sure you put in that promo code of Greg, G-R-E-G. That gets you a $1 for $1 match on your first deposit up to $25. Now let's take a look back at what we saw from a very intriguing game number 5 with a rookie stepping up very, very big. Try to find some trends and try to get to know these teams a little bit better.
Games from yesterday is Greg buzzing about. Here is the rowdy recap.
The Blue Jays take 2 games in Los Angeles. They are now 1 win away from their first World Series in over 3 decades. 6-1 the final, so they were able to hold the total under as Trey Savage, well, he just savagely cut down the LA Dodgers. How about 1 run allowed in 7 innings? He punched out 12. He did give up a solo run to Kike Hernandez, his first of the postseason, and Hernandez has had a very nice postseason, but that was his lone mistake. Sir Anthony Dominguez, Jeff Hoffman from there, both went scoreless innings, and for the LA Dodgers, there were 2 runs up on the board against them in the first inning as the Blue Jays were able to get back-to-back home runs to start the game. Vlad Guerrero Jr., his 8th of the postseason after he had just 23 during the regular season, and then Davis Schneider was the man that started off. He got that initial leadoff home run, his first of the postseason for the Dodgers. You had Blake Snell be able to lend some good length from there. He does go 6 2/3 innings. He gives up 5 runs. Many of them came in the 7th inning where he was just stretched out a little bit too far, as from there you did have some inherited runners not held on by Edgardo Enriquez, as I believe there were 3 wild pitches in that 7th inning where the Blue Jays were really able to bust this game open. It was 3-1 going into that 7th inning. It left with it being 5-1. From there, Anthony Banda gives up a run in 1 1/3 innings. He had a wild pitcher to himself. Blake Trinan was able to come in for a scoreless inning. But the Blue Jays, they take full control of the series. They are now up by a count of 3-2, and we need to talk about this next with Tanner Kern. He does amazing work over at DraftKings. We'll get his initial thoughts on Game 6. We'll get his thoughts on the series as a whole as well. On the flip side, right here on the Baseball Betting Show, with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN family of podcasts.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball, this is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by this man, as we've got Tanner Kern aboard. He does such a tremendous job over at DraftKings, taking a look at a little bit of everything. He does a great job on the baseball front, the football front. He, much like myself, I'm sure is very jazzed up that college basketball is going to be back in our lives in a few days. He's done some UFC. Heck, you need him to do hot dog eating contests. You know what? He'll handicap hot dog eating contests. You're able to follow him on Twitter/X at his first and last name, Tanner Kern, with an underscore after that. Last name spelled Kern. And Tanner, always great to get you aboard. Thank you.
Thanks for having me, Greg. Always appreciate it.
I always appreciate you, Tanner. And Tanner, we have got ourselves just a lot of fun that is happening in baseball in general. And how do you take a look at the fact that right now we've got the Blue Jays up 3-2 in the World Series after taking back-to-back games in Los Angeles? As this, in my opinion, was very unexpected, as I thought that the Dodgers were going to wrap this up in either 5 or 6.
Yeah, genuinely shocked at the result that we saw. I didn't think Trey Savage was going to be as good as he was, obviously. I don't think anybody thought that. I mean, if you bet that, I can't imagine what that number was. You definitely got a lot of plus money on that. But he was fantastic. You look at how the Dodgers played overall. Too much swing and miss in the lineup. And then also, too, when you just look at the Dodgers, you know, the biggest thing that I've been shocked about in this series so far, Blake Snell has dropped the ball completely whenever he's been on the mound. So I still trust Los Angeles to get it done. I think if any team can go on the road and win 2 games to win the World Series, it would be them. But the Toronto Blue Jays, got to tip your cap. They have been fantastic so far with their backs against the wall and nobody believing in them.
Yep, I am right there with you. It has been absolutely incredible what we've seen out of the Toronto Blue Jays. And how much do you look at this Blue Jays offense and just continue to marvel at it? Because I've noted this on the podcast so much. They lead all of baseball in terms of run creation ever since the All-Star break. And other than really Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, there's just not an easy out in this lineup right now.
No, there's really not. I mean, they've been awesome. And I look at Vladimir Guerrero Jr., he's really kind of created the culture in that lineup, I would say. It's hard to get out because when you know he's coming up or he's around that part of the order, it's really hard to obviously get outs in general. But overall, the entire Toronto lineup has hit the ball and different guys have stepped up. I look at Kirk. Kirk's been fantastic in crunch time, put some big swings together in this series so far. He's been one of my favorite hitters to watch in general. The Blue Jays lineup, I credit to them. As you're saying, IKF's been really good. And you look through the lineup, Bo Bichette only had 1 hit. Other guys carried the load. Barger was really good, 2 for 3. You know, Davis Schneider had the home run as well. So, you know, just overall team effort from the Blue Jays. But that's what they had to do to be successful in the series, and they're making it happen.
Yep, they certainly are making it happen. As a man that makes it happen is Tanner Kern. He does an amazing job over DraftKings. He's joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show. And Tanner, now for the Dodgers, it is going to be do or die for them in game number 6. It heads back to Toronto. They're going to get the day off on Thursday, but Yoshinobu Yamamoto is going to be getting the ball. Last 2 times we have seen him out there, he has went complete game and complete game, allowing a combined, I believe, just 2 runs along the way. I think they gave up 1 run in both of those starts, but that said, how do you take a look at this game number 6? Because for the Dodgers, it's not an ideal situation where it's do or die, but this is a guy, in my opinion, out of anyone on the face of planet Earth right now that you want having the ball in this game, in my opinion.
Yeah, if there's one guy on the mound that you want in this spot is Yoshinobu Yamamoto. It's just been tremendous in baseball this season overall, but in the playoffs, I mean, the complete games. When are we seeing guys go complete games in critical moments? And the Dodgers have been in situations.
In the regular season, no less.
Yeah, you know, I mean, it's just unbelievable. And the Dodgers have been in situations where they can let him go complete games. You know, these aren't tight games with, you know, 1 run and runners on third and crunch time that they're letting him go. Obviously, it's the playoffs, but he's just controlled games, 3-1, 1.57 ERA, .73 whip. 17 hits in 28 innings so far in the postseason. Kevin Gausman's been really good too, though. So it should be a solid game. I do trust Yamamoto more than Gausman, especially in the sense of Gausman did get beat up by the Dodgers so far in the World Series once. I think he'll be better again, but you know, you can't really trust that theory because Blake Snell, I thought he would respond after a rough showing early in the World Series, comes up, gets beat up once again. So maybe teams just have these pitchers' number, and Kevin Gausman could be that for the Dodgers. So I expect the series to go 7. I expect Los Angeles to bounce back. I would take them on the run line here. I think it's going to be a game where they come out and force their will early, and then we go to a game 7 where truthfully I don't know what's going to happen in that one, but I'm pretty confident in the Dodgers coming out getting it done in game 6.
Yep, I do think that they're going to be able to find a way to be able to persevere as well. But allow me to go a little bit further with this because with Yamamoto, he threw the complete game in game number 2. If it wasn't for his performance, who knows where the Dodgers would be right now? He's right now 12-1 to win World Series MVP. If you think that the Dodgers are going to be able to win game number 6, do you think that this is worth a stab? Because I look at Yamamoto and the last 2 times out, he has been nothing short of amazing. If he gives another performance like that and the Dodgers win in 7, I have to think that there is some value there with that number right now.
Yes and no. I totally agree with that. But, MVP is about moments, and Yamamoto has had his moments in the series. I think he had one earlier, obviously, where he goes the complete game, but it wasn't necessarily a super stressful situation for him there. We know how baseball works. It's the Shohei Ohtani show, as it should be. I mean, what he's been able to do, hit home runs and get strikeouts. I know he didn't have the great pitching performance, but, the ability to just hit home runs consistently, get walked as much as he had, be on base all those times in the 18-inning game there. I think it has to go to Shohei Ohtani because of how just baseball is with him. But I agree. I think it's worth a sprinkle going Yamamoto if he could come out and have a good game. But for him to win that award, I think it would have to be pretty close to a complete game if he is winning that award. If it's a 6-inning game that he pitches really well, and I don't know if that warrants giving it to him, knowing what Shohei Ohtani has done just in general in baseball this season, let alone the World Series.
And you did already mention that you are leaning the Dodgers in terms of that game number 6. That total is coming out at a 7.5, shaded down to the under. Is there any sort of a way that you're taking a look at that? Because I do think that it is personally a little bit correlated, where if Yamamoto goes out there and shoves once again, it really lends itself to the under. Meanwhile, if the Blue Jays get the job done, I think that a Blue Jays win would bode itself a little bit better to the over.
Yeah, the Blue Jays got to be able to score in this game. I think that's the biggest thing. I totally agree with you there. They got to put up runs on Yamamoto. And we know the Dodgers are going to get some runs on Kevin Gausman in an elimination game. I think it definitely leans more towards the over for the Blue Jays winning. But also, even if the Dodgers win this game, I don't think it's crazy to say it goes over. I agree. The script more says under there. But the Dodgers can put up runs. You look at the last time out against Kevin Gausman, they won 5-1 there. If the Blue Jays added a couple or more runs, that game does get over. I agree with you, but with that being said, the Dodgers are good enough to put up double digits on anybody on any given night, even a team like the Blue Jays, especially knowing, too, if it does get out of hand early, which who knows if it will, you're going to look to the Blue Jays to probably save up their pitching for Game 7 and not really do anything crazy.
Yep, and it is going to be so interesting to see what we get in that game number 6. And is there anything else that you might be looking to bet, whether that be in game number 6 or with regards to the rest of the series? I know that's a little bit difficult with regards to futures because I know that there are some people that might bet the Dodgers win the just entire series itself, but I personally would just bet that game to game rather than taking a shot on the series price with us being down to at the most 2 games. But is there any other bets to be had, whether that be a few props, whether that be something else for the rest of the series, or are you just going to be sticking with really the side and total in game number 6?
Yeah, I'm more so sticking with the side and total. I think a fun bet, and I'm not saying I would necessarily take this one, but I think the Dodgers are going to come out and win game 6. And if you're high on the Blue Jays winning the series, it's probably in 7 games in my mind, knowing the Dodgers are facing elimination. And they've been in the spot before. I think back to the series against the Padres last year in the playoffs. I thought the Dodgers are done. They come out, they get the job done.
In a bullpen game, no less.
Yeah, this team knows how to win close, tight games. So if you do think that the Blue Jays are going to win the series, you could get them a correct score bet right now, 4-3 for 3-1. That's probably a better deal than rolling over Dodgers and then Blue Jays in game 7. But if you like the Dodgers for 2-1, you could just roll your money over and probably get a better deal than that current series price of 2-1.
Yep, that's probably the lone futures bet that's really on the board that yields any sort of fruit whatsoever. So I think that that's a solid look. And Tanner, you've joined me a lot on this podcast throughout the year. You do a tremendous job on the baseball front, but I know you've pivoted and done a great job with regards to the NBA. You're doing a great job on the football front. You, much like myself, getting set for some college basketball action as well. So love to give people at home know what's all on tap for you and how people can follow along on social media and other platforms.
Yep, so you can find me on social at Tanner Kern, at Tanner Kern _ depending on the platform. I'm on the DraftKings Sportsbook Instagram every single day, and then all the social pages there as well. And then my podcast, Ride the Line, is on Tuesdays and Fridays with Grant Mitchell. You just search Ride the Line on YouTube and find that.
And Tanner does such an incredible job taking a look at so so many different things, and every single time he joins me, lends such great insights. So a big thanks to Tanner for joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Coming next, I know that we do not have a game for Thursday, but I'll give you my initial picks and analysis for the Game 5, game number 6, as we touch them all.
Breaking down every game, every day in Major League Baseball. This is the Baseball Betting Show. Here is your host, Greg Peterson.
And we're back here in lovely Las Vegas for the Baseball Betting Show with myself, Greg Peterson, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Always great to be joined by Tanner Kern. He does such an amazing job over at DraftKings, taking a look at this great game that we all know and love of baseball. And really, he does a little bit of everything, whether that be baseball, whether that be basketball, hockey, UFC, you name it, he does it. He's a wealth of knowledge, and every single time he joins me, he lends such great insights. So, big thanks to Tanner for joining me right here on the Baseball Betting Show. And I know that we don't have a game on Thursday, but we do have a critical Game 6 on Friday. We are starting to see openers coming out as I am recording this. I am recording this for reference right around about 11:30 p.m. Eastern Time on Wednesday. Want to give you guys my initial picks and analysis for this game number 6 as we touch them all.
If a game is listed on the betting board, Greg has a side and a total on it, so it is time to touch them all.
Do note that, as per usual, any changes that are made to these plays will be listed up on my Twitter/X feed at Jude_81. It is incredibly easy to go in Las Vegas rotation order on this one because, well, we've got one game, and this might be the last game of the season. The way that I'm picking it, though, I hope that it is not. 9:31, 9:32 on the card. The Dodgers are on the road against the Toronto Blue Jays. Kevin Gausman goes for the Jays. Yoshinobu Yamamoto is on the bump for the Dodgers. Right now, these initial openers are showing the Dodgers anywhere between -133 to -142 on the money line. +110 to +124 is that number on the Blue Jays with a 7.5 total, under at -120, and the over is right now even. And I'm going to be willing to side with the under. The Blue Jays have been a rock-solid offense really ever since the second half of the season began. If you look ever since the All-Star break, they're averaging about 5.5 to 5.6 runs per game. That is numero uno in all of baseball, and for the Dodgers, they're not chopped liver as well. Led the National League during the regular season in terms of run creation. That said, Yoshinobu Yamamoto, in his last 2 starts, 18 innings. That's right, 2 complete games, allowing 1 run along the way. This guy has just been absolutely flat out magnificent. I think they can do it once again to a Blue Jays team that it's going to be questionable to see whether or not George Springer is able to get in there. I know that he was trying to get out there for game number 5. I do think that in some form or capacity they probably will have him out there. But even Davis Schneider was able to hit a home run in that game number 5. We have seen this team 1 through 9, really, other than Isaiah Kiner-Falefa, and even he had himself a hit or two in that game number 5. Be really rock solid for the team. Vlad Guerrero Jr., 23 home runs in the regular season. He's already got 8 here in the playoffs. So, you've got all these guys producing. Don't call his name. Alejandro Kirk has really been able to put some power into it. Dalton Varsho has been able to give you 4+ home runs here in the postseason. Bo Bichette was dealing with injury. He's hit above a 300 in this playoffs. But again, with Yoshinobu Yamamoto, he takes so much of the bullpen out of it as well because he's just going so deep into games. Back-to-back complete games between the regular season and the playoffs. He's been posting up a 2.34 ERA. He's been very good with his swing and miss stuff. 10.1 strikeouts per 9 innings. And on the road, he's posting up an ERA that is below a 2 if you look between the regular season and the playoffs. He's actually been at his best when he has been on the road. And for Kevin Gausman, he's been steady Eddie. This has been a guy that has given up now 2 earned runs or fewer in 15 out of his last 20 starts between the regular season and the playoffs. 3.47 ERA, but I feel like he's been even better than those stats. About 8.6 strikeouts to 2.4 walks per 9 innings between the regular season and the playoffs. His strikeout stuff has been way down in the postseason, but he's been doing a nice job of inducing some soft contact, and we really have seen the Dodgers ever since that marathon game number 3 really struggle at the plate. Just 1 run in game number 5. Teoscar Hernandez has been able to find it quite a bit more at the plate. He had multiple hits in game number 5, one of the few guys that was able to give you much of anything. He's had 4 home runs here in the playoffs. Shohei Ohtani, he had a rough first few series of the postseason. Here in this series against the Toronto Blue Jays, obviously he has been rock solid at multiple home runs in that game number 3. He's been providing a 392 on base. I think they reached base like 9 times in that 18-inning game, so he has not been the problem. But Max Muncy has been such a catalyst for this team, hitting just a 188 here in the playoffs. That's been a little bit of an issue. Freddie Freeman comes up with that massive home run in that game number 3, but he's hitting just a 237 here in the playoffs. Mookie Betts has begun to go a little bit cold as well. Alex Call has actually been doing a nice job of moving the line. Not necessarily going to give you a ton of power, but he's been doing a nice job being able to reach base for this team. But I do think that with Yamamoto on the mound, it's really going to be able to take out of the fold so many of those guys that you've been relying upon for the Dodgers. Like, you're not going to be seeing Anthony Banda. You're not going to be seeing Blake Trinan coming out of the bullpen. Maybe you see a little bit of like Roki Sasaki, Emmett Sheehan, the converted starters who have been so rock solid in the bullpen, but he takes that aspect out of it. And for the Toronto Blue Jays, they've been posting up a ERA above a 4 here in the playoffs as well. They did use Jeff Hoffman in game number 5. He'll be all good to go because you get a day of rest on Thursday. He's actually been really good in the playoffs. A sub 1 ERA after during the regular season he posted up an ERA above a 4. Seranthony Dominguez has been a little bit shaky though. Brandon Little, Braden Fisher were so good during the regular season. They've had their issues as well. Kevin Gausman I think gives you a good start, but I think that the Dodgers do just enough to get to him, and I think that Yoshinobu Yamamoto just continues to be amazing. I'm going to side with the Dodgers on the money line. I set my money line price at a minus 143, so willing to go up to a minus 142 there, and I'm going to on the under, set my total at 6.6, and that'll wrap things up for the Thursday edition of the Baseball Betting Show, now part of the VSiN Family Podcast. Big thanks to Tanner Kern of DraftKings, who joined me in the last segment. If you do like hearing from this fine podcast, Baseball Betting Show, you're able to subscribe wherever your podcasts, Apple Podcasts, Google Play, Spotify, Stitcher, and TuneIn. If you have a question, comment, segment idea, what have you for this podcast, you have one of 2 ways to be able to fire those in. First one is my Twitter/X timeline at gunit_81. Keep in mind, letters CM, they mean does not matter, so as per usual, please do send these into the timeline. Other ways, find an Apple Podcast review. If you rate this podcast 5 stars, it is very much appreciated. From there, you're able to fire in whatever you'd like to hear on this podcast via that 5-star review, and I am with you guys every single day until a champion is crowned, and then from there we get into college basketball mode, which that'll obviously be a lot of fun, so I will be back with you guys once again tomorrow. Thank you so much.